What's going on, beautiful people? I'm Amiri.
And I'm Yazara.
We're going to be talking to y'all about relationships today. Understanding weaknesses in relationships. The everyday, the ins and outs, ups and downs of what goes on in relationships. So, I'd like to start off addressing the men. I personally feel that if a relationship is going to work, the man has to be ready. Ready for a relationship, ready to make sacrifices. As both parties, but more so the man, because we definitely, are considered to be the leaders, especially in a relationship. We're the providers, protectors, and we have to be serious. We have to be ready. We have to be willing to give up playing Madden. If your spouse agrees with you playing Madden all day, even if she agrees, just give up something. Don't waste your time playing PlayStation or doing stuff that you used to do as a bachelor. That's we could just nip that in the bud right now. That's just to make things flow. Just cater to your spouse. If not 100%, 98%. You know what I'm saying? But and as well as your spouse, the female, she has to be willing to, make sacrifices herself, to understand, understand a man and understand how a man thinks, and sometimes we have to have time to sort certain things out, or whatever. But it's definitely a team thing. It's not what I'm doing over here, what you're doing over there. It's what we're doing. You definitely have to come together collectively. We just gonna, touch on a few things that goes on in relationships, and when those things come up, you have to be aware. Okay, she could possibly be going through something right now. I have to understand. At least seek what's going on. So and ladies, let us know what's going on. You have to let us know. Because we can't really, we don't have the wonderful skill of intuition that guys do. You have to tell us everything. We problem solve. My wife reminds me of that every day. She understands that we're problem solvers. We don't even like reading instructions. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try to figure it out on our own. Do it big. How you do it? And she done read the instructions.
Oh goodness! Right.
Try this out. Then we get mad. We're like, oh man, if your wife is there to help you, or your spouse, well, we should be married. We should be getting married first of all. But second of all, your significant other, or your one. We're one. When you come together as a team in a relationship, you're one now. When she has whatever she has to offer to the relationship, cherish it. Because it's not just like I said previously. It's not what I'm doing or what she's doing. It's what we're doing. So whatever she has to bring to the table, cherish it, welcome it. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate everything she does. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. You have anything to add, Jim?
Well, first of all, excuse the noise. We have the door open, and we have our 4-year-old and the dog are outside playing, and all kind of cars and stuff are passing. But yeah, we're speaking on understanding each other's weaknesses and how to balance them out with whatever your strong point is, and yeah, just to add to what he was saying, men are problem solvers, and ladies, we have to spell it out. I know we don't like to. We want for them to be able to interpret our emotions, but that's not one of their strengths. It's not. Their strength is to solve problems. So spell the problem out all the way and let them solve it.
Right. Exactly. And another thing we often talk about you know, back to sacrificing. Um, Once again, I'm gonna start with the men. The situation with, you know, going out with your fellas and your partners or whatever. That you know, you know, it's cool. See, man, I prefer not to do it much. I'm really not a big party guy or club goer, none of that. First of all, but I really prefer not to, because it's like when you want something to work, you have to work on it 100%. You have to tinker with it and mess with it, practice with it, you know, 100%. If you want it to be perfect, you want it to be perfect as possible, you have to take your time with that. Mm-hmm. Same thing with a relationship, you know. This is my family. This have to work before anything. And I love my friends. I love everybody. I love everybody. She can tell. I don't even like killing roaches, killing bees and flies. I love everything. You know, until it's a threat, of course. I'm a fly killer. But, she be killing flies and smacking window drapes and be scaring me and stuff.
We go through so many sets of blinds. Man. I hate flies, but yeah. I mean, guys, just think about it. When you are a bachelor and you're playing Madden, you play Madden all day. You play the game all day long. You do whatever it is. If you like motorbikes, or if you like, you know, sports, you watch sports all day until you perfect it, until you know the stats and you know the ins and the outs of it. Well, if you want to have a successful marriage, relationships, because it starts with relationships, but your relationship should be moving towards marriage. If you want to be successful, you gotta put time in. You gotta put work in. Right. Really, we have.
And I know. I'm a sports fanatic, but not as much as I was when I was a bachelor.
True.
And you know, and even now, you know, my wife, she understands that you know, with men, we're competitive. We gotta have something, you know, something else to feed that. But sacrifice, man, I'm telling you, once you give your all to a relationship, you getting fed. You ain't gonna have time to worry about none of that. You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes useless. Anything else becomes useless. If you're serious about taking care of your family and making sure they're good, as well as yourself, you know, when you doing things, you know, not knocking anybody with clocking in or whatever, but if anybody that has aspirations on becoming an entrepreneur or a business person or whatever, working for themselves, that along with taking care of your family, and taking care of family is definitely motivation, you know, and when you're trying to do your own thing. You ain't gonna have time for nothing else. By the time, if you're serious about being an entrepreneur and taking care of your family, by this time your brain is trained on that. You're not worrying about nothing else but doing what you have, providing for yourself and your family.
Let me check on Jace.
Yeah, make sure he's not choking the dog. But
he's in the car.
In the car. I know that. But,
he's driving.
Yeah, right. But to touch back on what my wife was just talking about, you know, when you put your all into something, you're good at. I mean, we have brothers in gaming tournaments and you know, all online and all that with the just put yourself in your spouse's shoes. Either way, male, female, when you're doing your thing more than our thing, just put yourself in that situation. If you especially if you really digging each other, love each other, and the love is real. That's the type of things that ruin good relationships. You know, it's like I mentioned before. Your brain gets trained on certain things. You know, and when you pay attention to something else, your mind, it loses sight of your other or your one. You know, and then it's like just like I said, put yourself in the other shoe, right? I love her. She loves me. But if I'm all day on the computer or watching ESPN or whatever, and she's trying to get my attention or trying to, cater to me, I don't have time, then things start to get sour. People grow apart like that. And it's just 100%.
You leave a weakness. Yeah. You open up a vulnerable spot in your relationship, and very often that's the time. Even the scripture says it. That's the time when the person gets tempted, when someone comes in and gives them the attention that they want. And it may not even be on a flirtatious level or anything like that, but it can grow into that if they're growing away from you and growing towards this other person. And we all say, well, you should be faithful and you should do this, which we should be. We're looking at the dog. This isn't justifying, unfaithful behavior. But it is saying that you don't want to leave that space open. You don't want to create a weakness within your own relationship. And it happens. I'm telling you, it happens to the best people who wouldn't think, and it happens in the best relationships. You just have to really be ready to put that time in with somebody. And in a fulfilling relationship,
it's all right.
You really begin to fulfill each other's wants and needs, and you have more fun together than you do apart, and building whatever it is that you're trying to build together than you do apart. This is our life.
I ain't gonna cut off.
And you do. You really do. It takes time and it takes effort to get to where you're going. And we're definitely not where we want to be right now. We're not. But we're putting the time in. We're putting the effort in and we're putting the work in to get to where we want to go. We are a long way from where we started, though. A very long way from where we started. But in the beginning, we knew that we didn't want to date. We didn't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend. We didn't want that whole thing. Both of us knew that we were ready. Well, I knew. I'll say I knew. I knew I was ready to be a wife. And eventually, by me having that image in my head that I was ready to be a wife, I wasn't taking anything less than, marriage. And I saw him as my husband. I literally visioned him as my husband. Eventually, he evolved into that. He wasn't playing games. He just, was a bachelor who hadn't had any really serious relationship. So I had to understand that. And I had to be willing to be patient and be kind with myself and with him. Because it was a road. It was a road.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because fellas, when it's for you, you can't fight it. And likewise too, if you're serious about a relationship, love or marriage, any of that, don't look for it. Don't look for it. That's the best way of getting it. It finds you. If you're serious about it, it finds you. And we'll touch on things like law of attraction and manifestation later on, a couple of series later. But things happen when you think about just. I know this happened to several people. When you think about somebody a lot, they could be way in Baltimore somewhere. You're in New Orleans. Something gonna happen. They might call you, or somebody else might ask you about them, or you might see them on a Facebook or something. The law of attraction, it brings it around. So if you're serious, if you think about, marriage or being with a man, being with a woman, and you're serious about it, it's gonna come to you. You just don't go to the bar looking for a good relationship. That's so crazy to me.
Or the club, or the concert.
I want a good man, but you going to the bar. are you going to the club looking for a good man? I have to say it like that because
you got to think about it logically.
It's,
sometimes it never works.
It never works. And who's to say? I mean, I never believe it, but I mean, anything's possible. If you put in a situation, especially if you're somebody that don't necessarily go out, and if something happens the way you're out with a friend or something, and law of attraction,
right?
That person that's for you in the same boat,
right?
Don't want to be in this club. Just
yeah, we have friends that happen too.
Yes. I don't.
Yes.
I don't remember. Ooh, whatever. Well, we ain't gonna put them on blast.
Right. But y'all know who y'all are.
Hey.
And when y'all heard that, y'all thought about yourselves.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that proves another point. You can't fight it. What's for you is for you, and you just sort it out. And you definitely once you start, dealing with a person, you definitely have to prove them. You have to, and a lot of times it's not even intentional. What you bring to the table and what that person brings to the table is a test within itself. If you can deal with what that person is going through, and if she can deal with what you're going through, it's a test within itself. That person stick around, they deserve a shot. If you stick around, they as well, like vice versa, you deserve a shot. Story.
And don't do it.
Quick story.
Okay.
Quick story.
Okay.
With this woman. Now we are
this woman.
not true, with no apologies. We are.
You got a potty?
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
Close the door.
The true
All
Hebrew
right.
Israelites spoken of in the Bible. We're not straight up. Let's not get that twisted. So we follow Scripture. We do everything that the Bible say do. It's part of my ebonics.
As best as we can, we keep the law.
As best as we can. Now, coming into us, I was already following, what we follow. And I mentioned.
Close the door. That's the 4-year-old.
Say hi, Jace.
Hi.
You all right?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, now go outside and play.
Now go finish playing. We doing stuff. I was already following what we follow. And I made her aware of what I believe. I believe, and it's not even what I believe, it's what I follow from Scripture. If you believe in the Bible, raise your hand. That's for y'all too. If you're raising your hand right now, the Scripture said that woman shall not wear which pertaineth to a man. All right? Leviticus and Deuteronomy. We'll run the verses down later on until after I get to my point. But men wear pants. Not to sound like y'all don't have no knowledge of that or whatever, but when up until when the late 60s,
yeah,
women
60s.
wore
Dresses and skirts. And that was it.
Reese, that's not too long ago. But not to digress, I mentioned to any woman that would want, and we was friends, kicking and talking. Any woman that would be with me, I would request or prefer that she not wear pants. Straight up. And it wasn't no ill feelings or nothing. We continue on our conversation. I explained, not even in a way to be pushy or chauvinistic. It was I made clear that for health reasons. You know what I'm saying? That's me showing right off the dump my care for who I would want to be with. They say their health, and for health reasons. Women get certain situations down, yeast infections and such and all, because look at my pants. I'm not trying to do no, it's not. But
that's what pants are for, and we're not supposed to be cooped up down there. And
you should be able to breathe.
Right.
we made that we discussed all that, and she had a special appreciation for that. Like, what maybe the next day or maybe a 2-3 days.
It was months. It was some months later. It was some months later.
And it seemed that close because it shocked the hell out of me. She called me and was like, "Oh, I can't believe I threw all my pants away."
Oh goodness!
And a bit, I'm gonna be real.
That was probably his reaction. I was on the phone. I couldn't see.
Probably. That was my reaction, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I was shocked. I was like, "Well, damn, what I do now?" You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not used to that little quick reaction like that. I'm like, well, I might, you know, time to see time. Just like I said, if you have to deal with their situations, and they have to deal with your situations. Now, to see if this is gonna work out, test it out. See, next step. All right, so we, it went on from that, and that's just a story I wanted to share, and that's why I shared it. Is whatever you bring to the table, she was willing enough to take on my belief because she cared to dwell with me, she cared enough about me, and just like she said, she already knew. I did. We don't know, but she already knew, and it was on me now. It was my turn. Like, all right, now I got
Amir,
but
quiet down a little bit.
Yeah, that was all. That was all. I just wanted to share that story with y'all, and yeah. So.
Yeah, and as it pertains to proving your partner, that goes very well with what we're saying here, because a lot of times people go into the proving stage and they're like, oh, well, he throws his socks on the floor. Oh my goodness, I don't like that. I'm not putting up with that. You have to understand people's weaknesses. You really do. And, some people have bigger weaknesses than other people. Now, there are certain weaknesses that I personally wouldn't put up with. But he had weaknesses that I had to learn to deal with. And I have weaknesses that he's had to learn to deal with. And above all, focusing more on the strengths. When you're in the process of proving a person, you should not be trying to prove them wrong. You should be trying to prove them right. Focus on the good things. If he ain't beating on you, if he's not lazy and doesn't want to work, if he's not a terribly habitual liar or a cheater. I mean, some people are okay with cheaters. If you're not okay with that, understand that from the get-go. Make sure that is understood from the get-go. But little things, little weaknesses, learn how to deal with them. When you can be understanding of your own weaknesses, I'll say that. When you can understand your own weaknesses, it makes it much easier to be kind to your partner and to be patient with your partner when their weaknesses show. Because that's what we're together for, to balance each other out. When I'm weaker, he's strong. When he's weaker, I'm strong. We've both had to deal with loss since we've been together, and a lot of our very close people have passed in a really short time. And there were times when we were very weak, when we just didn't want to keep going, but we pushed through. And that's really what it's about. You got to keep pushing and be understanding. The scripture says, get understanding. So many people want to get knowledge, and they want to get wisdom, and they want to get love, and all this other, but above all you're getting, get understanding.
Simplicity is the key to surviving.
Truly.
Because when you don't have all of this, you're not going to need none of that knowledge to survive, And just, you could survive in this society with simple knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's
some of the richest people just have common sense.
It's the process of elimination. And straight up, it's just simplicity, and keeping your lifestyle simple, and just, not expecting too much. Well, you should have high expectations
of yourself.
Of yourself first and foremost. Thank you for that. That thought. And second of all, you should have high expectations for your spouse or your husband, or your one, because what's the use? That's pulling each other down, And my wife posted on her page today, what it is about the huddle. What it said?
Build your team with people who won't bump heads when you huddle. And and that goes with understanding. If I understand that he's weaker in a certain area, or if he understands that I'm weaker in a certain area, then when we're planning our life together, we plan according to that. We plan. I don't put something on his shoulders that I know he can't deal with, and he won't put something on my shoulders that he knows I can't deal with. Like, one of my weaknesses, according to this society, because I don't think it's a weakness, I enjoy being home with my children. I enjoy taking care of my husband, and I will not work outside of my house now that I'm married, unless it's like dire need. But
I won't allow it. I wouldn't prefer it.
And he understands that. He understands the stress that's put on women working outside of the home. And it's not, I don't sit home and not do anything. I have so much business going on within our home. And we have so many endeavors and ventures that we're doing within our home. But he understands that one of my weaknesses is being, what would I call it? I'm not sure, but I don't like clocking in, and I don't like somebody telling me how I can spend my time and what I can do and when I can take lunch and all this other foolishness.
That's micromanagement.
I don't like that. And he's not that kind of a husband. He says what he has to say, and that's that. His rules are his rules, and I respect his rules, and his word is the last word. But within those parameters, this is my home. And he allows me to do what I need to do within our home. But, instead of him saying, well, we have these goals to purchase a food truck. That's one of our goals. We want to get a food truck. If we're going to save up this amount of money, you're going to need to work too. He doesn't say that. He allows me to create. And our dog is
crazy.
He's ignorant, okay? Our dog is so ghetto. He's ridiculous. He just barks at everybody. He's this big, and he's nuts, okay? But either way, instead of trying to force me into a position or into a role that is not fit for me, he understands what I am and what I do. And he allows me to do it. Say hi to Biko. That's Biko. That's Biko.
Killer.
He is crazy, okay? He's a puggle. And he is... I don't even know what's going on with Biko. I really don't. My dad gave him to us before he passed, and if it wasn't for that, Biko would be on Craigslist right now. He would, because I just can't. But either way, just be understanding of each other, and don't have this role of a man, ladies. I'll address y'all since my husband is gone. Yes, we have standards, and we should have standards. But a lot of our standards come from the media and books and Terry McMillan and Zane and all them. And they're not realistic. A lot of our standards also come from the fact that we are a generation who was raised without fathers in the home. And that's another story. But we were raised without our dad. So we look for that man who will embody who we wanted our fathers to be. And don't do that. Don't do that. taking your past and bringing it into your present and possibly ruining your present because you're trying to make it live up to your past. And even women who had their dads. Being doted on and made into a princess will make you want for your man to live up to that. Your man may not be a millionaire. He may be working towards it. Help him get towards that. Understand that weakness. And dads have this thing of spoiling us. Even when they're not millionaires, they will sell the world to give their daughters what they want. And it works kind of to a disadvantage because we meet men in our younger years who are still building. And now we have men who are saying, well, F it, I'm going to just not deal with no women. I'm going to just stack my money. Because we have these standards that we put on them, so they think, I need to be a millionaire to get a good wife. When that's not it. You know, be willing to work from the bottom up. Be willing to help him lay the bricks and stack up to get to his empire. To y'all's empire. Because like he said earlier, it's not him and it's not me. It's we. It's us. It's us and our kids and y'all now. So just be willing to put in that work with your man.
To touch back on the situation of I personally, I feel as though all men should feel this way. I don't want my wife working, taking orders from another man, straight up. You know, straight up. I mean, it's a subconscious thing, and you know, and then it's a waste of energy. Now, any ladies, please don't take this the wrong. Mm-hmm. Build from this. Mm-hmm. Learn from this. If you know, if you feel otherwise, you feel otherwise. We're not knocking nobody. We're trying to get you know, spark a different perspective in people. You know, it's you know, and just think of that. Like, you know, not having to submit to nobody else but your man. Mm-hmm. Somebody you fell in love with. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, I'm sure you don't love your boss. You probably fat and bad attitude, you know, because his wife got to go work somewhere and they at home
bickering,
battling. And that's what's gonna happen in your household. That's what. There's so many things that happens within relationship to make them falter, and we don't know it. We don't know why. We don't know because we think we're doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And we have a lot of people that pretend to be happy, you know, and it's just, and you know, to give some kind of credit to pretending to be happy, you know, for the kids or whatever, that's part of that sticking through it. But, I mean, it's not healthy to be unhappy. Mm-hmm. You know, and we see a lot of cases with, yeah. We see a lot of cases when you have stories on the news, people and clicked out, and you know, this didn't happen and that didn't happen, and, you know. But yep. But yeah, we just a lot of things that happen. You know, we don't necessarily understand, and hopefully we, you know, can be able to touch on those things and help out. But unfortunately, we have a situation. We have to
yeah, our dog got off the leash.
Cut our
and he's nuts. We don't want him terrorizing the neighborhood.
You know, but with that, we're gonna say, be great and be inspired.
Peace.
Peace.